Guys, I never wanted to make this video. I've even debated making this video lately. I may even lose some of my friends over this, but I've made the decision that this is more important than that. How are you doing? So I challenge you to stick with me through the 4 or 5 parts of this, as I'm going to talk a little bit about some current events, some history within the city here, discussing these issues, some of my after action thoughts on all this, and possible solutions. I am on the CRF 450 today, and buckle in because this is an important video. Let's do it. All right, guys. Down here on 68th and Hone, West Englewood neighborhood. Guys, you know me, I like to cut right to the point, and that's what we're gonna do right away in this video, with only the clear-cut facts about what we know about these situations. About 3 weeks ago now, in the early hours of the night on a weekday, a pack of ATVs and dirt bikes surround a Mini Cooper in downtown Chicago in the Gold Coast. The woman attempted to back up and get herself out of the situation, and she clipped one of the dirt bikes on the way out of there. Mind you, this is like a 2-mile-an-hour tip-over type of deal. A rider then proceeded to pull out a handgun, point it at said woman in the Mini Cooper, as she continued to reverse away, stop, and drive away from the scene slowly. As she began to drive away, one of the riders of these ATVs let off 4 shots into this woman's car. She was too traumatized to talk about it with the news, but thank God she was not injured or hit. Probably just scarred for life driving in the city of Chicago now. That event absolutely shocked me. Now fast forward an additional 2 weeks, and a 17-year-old by the name of Kamari Edwards was test riding his mini bike around his house's block.
Since his son put the bike together on his own, he let him go out.
As he was riding his pull-string mini bike around the block, a truck pulled up and attempted to take his bike from him. Kamari, who by all accounts was a good kid, fled in not only fear for his mini bike getting stolen, but his life.
Maurice and Keisha homeschooled their son, who also went to church at least 3 times a week.
He was shot 1 time in the neck and succumbed to his injuries shortly after.
He will be missed but not forgotten, I'll tell you that.
So that's what we know. Those are the current events that have happened within the past month. That's what we know. 2 blatant and pretty apparent gun violence incidents within the Chicago bike scene here. Look at this thing, man, the spinners on it. Now I know maybe an outsider looking in would say, Brian, Chicago violence is just part of Chicago. Why are you even making a video about this? What does this matter? Whether we're talking about the mass immigration that happened in this city and the conditions that a lot of immigrants were living in, causing violence, the 1920s where Al Capone and mobsters ran this city during Prohibition, to the 70s and 80s with the cocaine and crack epidemic and mega gangs being established here by guys like Larry Hoover. Yes, you are right. Gun violence has been a part of this city, unfortunately, for many of years. It was a problem way before I was born, and it's going to be a problem probably in my kids, and hopefully not, but possibly even my grandkids' generations. But what is unique about these situations that I'm bringing up? It's shootings within Bikelife. This is not commonplace here. There's a reason I came down here to Washington Heights. He was 17 years old. I need you as human beings to relate to a 17-year-old on a mini bike, riding his mini bike that he just built. No, we as a city need to do better, but the fact that this is happening within our community, it literally makes my stomach sick. That's the kid next to you eating a hot dog at Mini Monday. That's the guy asking you questions on your Facebook groups. And before I get any farther into this video, the link for his family and his funeral's GoFundMe is down in my description. Obviously, it's a terrible time for their family, so to even help lessen that burden at all, obviously it means something. So pop it up one time. Now I want to go on to my 3rd point, and that is my thoughts on both these situations. And let's start with the older one first. Let's start with the ATVs and dirt bikers shooting at a woman in her Mini Cooper in downtown. Let's start with that. And I'm gonna get off my bike because I literally hate doing videos like this. I hope you guys can hear it in my voice. I hate it. A woman got scared around a group of bikers. That is normal. She went to reverse and she knocked over a parked bike. That is frustrating. Believe me, who else knows better about having their parked bike tipped over and stuff on it broken? Let's think back 2 years ago to that viral video of that lady pushing over my ground. Did I pull out my gun and shoot at her? Did I think that knocking over a bike deserved deadly force? It didn't even cross my mind. So the fact that I even have to tell you what I think about that is insane. I think you pick up your bike and you chop it as a loss. If she broke your lever, you chop it as a loss. If she really wants to be cool and you want to go up to the window and say, hey, you owe me 20 bucks for my lever, blah, 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 I guess you can handle it that way, or give me your insurance, or whatever you want to do that. Don't pull out your gun and shoot at her. That's my thoughts on that. My thoughts on Kamari getting killed for his mini bike, just sickening. The lack of respect for human life is insane, and that's something that I I feel like us as a city have become numb to. However, it's happening in our scene. It's happening with guys that ride motorcycles in Chicago. And anyone who rides a motorcycle in Chicago doesn't just ride alone. They normally ride with 1 or 2 others, sometimes 20 others, sometimes 200 others, sometimes 2,000 others. So people are there when this stuff is happening. Am I telling you though, if your friend has a hot temper and he pulls a gun out or he's robbing people for mini bikes to go ride with his other friends, and you're not telling him to seek help, seek a therapist, I'm not riding with you, I don't want to be anywhere around you, and you're not doing that, then you're part of the problem, dude. And you know what also tells me? It also tells me that you care more about being cool with your group of friends than you do about Chicago's bike life as a whole. If you want to keep doing this, if you want your kids to keep doing this, if this is your outlet, if this is your stress reliever, if this is your escape out of the madness that is the city of Chicago, that so many of us try to escape when we are on these bikes, and you're not saying anything, these cancers within our fucking bike life, because that's all I can call them, is cancers, then you are part of the problem too. And with that being said, I want to tell you something about my life that I've never told you guys about. Why do you think I'm talking so passionately about gun violence, about senseless killing, senseless use of deadly force? It's because my father was taken from me by gun violence. I've never talked about this on this channel, and I don't really plan to get into detail. However, my dad was taken from me senselessly. So I do understand, and I do have sympathy for the Edwards family, and I know that pain. And it's a confusing, it's a dark place. I wouldn't wish it upon anybody. It sucks. But I'll leave that topic at that. Like, I really don't know what I would do if I wasn't at peace like this on my motorcycle multiple times a week, if not daily. Like, it is truly my happy place. It's where all those bad feelings and thoughts and madness that the city of Chicago is, and even more so just past trauma within my life, goes away. So if you're trying to degrade this community or this scene, yeah, I don't with you, man. Do I agree and fully support the fact that guys should arm themselves and carry a gun responsibly? Absolutely. And you should learn when and where deadly force is not only acceptable but 100% legal, because it is here in the state of Illinois. If that woman in that Mini Cooper was attempting to run one of you riders over, yes, you could get in front of a judge and argue that your life was at risk, and that's why you used your weapon, because you were met with deadly force. And I'm sorry, reversing it 2 miles an hour backwards is not deadly force, my guy. I want you guys for a second to think that I'm not pro Second Amendment or pro constitutional carry even. It's a roll, stop it. It's alright, it's alright. So for the guys that do carry their guns and do it responsibly for those worst case scenarios, I 100% back and I understand you. But this is for the guys that are carrying guns to not only intimidate other drivers, but to commit acts of robbery, acts of murder, like literally just to terrorize. I'm literally calling you out, and even more so, I'm calling out the micro leaders, the guys that, you know, even if you have one friend that you ride with and somewhat looks up to you, or to the guy that leads his own 20, 30, 40 plus rider group rides, you need to be addressing this. If you know these guys that are shooting at innocent women downtown, or you even remotely know who's trying to rob 17-year-old kids for their mini bikes, and you're not saying anything to those people and rooting out the problem from the core right out of our community, then I can honestly say I don't think you give a fuck about the longevity of Chicago bike life. And I mean that with the utmost amount of respect. You need to be having these tough conversations with your friends, and there is nothing harder than correcting your peers and saying, hey dude, I think you're a little bit too crazy, I think you've had a couple too many drinks, how about we don't ride today? Or hey man, I don't think it's a good idea to go rob somebody for their mini bike. Or dude, you do not need to pull your gun over situations that don't need deadly force. Believe me, it is so much more scary making this video than you having the conversation with that one friend or whoever these couple troublemakers are within the scene here. It's honestly intimidating for me, and I've thought about this video for a long time, and I've thought about speaking up over it, and yeah, I'm telling you guys to root those fucking guys out of our community, for real. They will kill whatever we have built here.
Do your thing, man. That motherfucker look nice.
Thanks, man. It's a 2019 CRF 450. Pretty fun. She about to get put away though with all the salt on the roads.
I was gonna say that. Lock them. Be safe.
Yeah, I'm trying, man. I'm trying. All right, guys, my final thoughts, my conclusion on how we can hopefully solve these complex issues. Gun violence in the city of Chicago is an issue that I don't think anyone is able to solve, as multiple mayors and multiple people, elected officials and police alike, have failed time after time after time. Will I lose some friends over this? Possibly. I hope for the 95% of you guys that understand where I'm coming from, as somebody who understands gun violence to its absolute core, somebody who's been affected by it, and somebody who has so much love and so much passion for the scene here, that if we lost that, I don't know what I would do. I don't know what I would do if I could not ride my bike in peace with a good community, whether it's guys from the north side, Kings from the west side, GDs from the south side, and kids from DuPage County, all shaking hands and putting all that stuff to the side. I don't know what I would do without that. So I hope I got through to a couple of you guys today, man. I'm really wishing you a happy Thanksgiving. And please, please, please go down to that GoFundMe down below and donate to the Edwards family, as dealing with a death, especially that young, has to be absolutely traumatic, and especially over something so trivial as a mini bike. You guys know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe, but more so, share this, and even more so of that, share this message. Your least favorite motovlogger doing your least favorite motovlogger things. I'm out. Love y'all. Peace.